Bowie High School. That's Bowie High School Drumline. Thank you for joining us this morning, and good morning and welcome to the 2013-2014 school year. Are you excited about being here? Wonderful. We are obviously at Seguin High School. You know that, but to all our other locations, we're broadcasting from Seguin High School, and this will be the most watched convocation we've ever had in AISD because we're including the entire family and broadcasting throughout the entire district. So welcome everyone from remote locations. Welcome everyone from Seguin High School. And this is going to be an outstanding school year. So let's get it started, right? All right, so we're going to have the opportunity this morning to listen to some responses and interact with other sites in our school district. And so it's going to be a test of our technology, right? The assistant superintendent from technology is new. And so we've set a new standard. If he walks out of the building, it means it's not working, okay? But it will work. We know it will work. So we're going to try to go through some activities and things like that. The other part of today is understanding that by connecting to other sites virtually, we're also creating this virtual PLC in our district and a demonstration that we can interact, we can collaborate, and it doesn't have to be the traditional way of doing that. And so you're going to hear today from some of our other sites, and I hope that they showed up to work because we're going to find out, right? And I think they are because I can see them here in the screen, by the way. So we're going to start with our mission statement and vision statement. I just want to remind everyone about our vision and mission statement because it's so important. This is what drives our school district. And so before we begin anything else, we talk about these things. So the vision of the Arlington Independent School District is to be globally acknowledged as a premier school district. Last year, we started our strategic plan and moved well on our way to becoming a premier school district. It is the beginning, the foundational pieces that we established last year in becoming that premier school district. So today, we're going to ask you some questions in relation to being a premier school district. It's also important to note our mission statement. In our mission statement, the mission of the Arlington Independent School District is to empower and engage all students to be contributing, responsible citizens, reaching their maximum potential through relevant, innovative, and rigorous learning experiences. And so I'm going to take just a few seconds here to highlight the important part of that mission statement. It's all important, but many times mission statement states what you want to accomplish, but rarely states how you do that. In AISD, we've stated how we want to do that. And so it is through relevant, innovative, rigorous learning experiences. So if you had any doubt about how we're going to accomplish our bold objectives, that's how. And so we know that through relevant, innovative, and rigorous learning experiences, that's not normal, average teaching. And so I had an opportunity to visit with the new teachers, 450 plus new teachers to AISD. Some new to the profession and some that have worked in other places but are joining our team. It's very easy to distinguish those two groups when they're in a room. The brand new ones and the ones that have worked in other districts. But I'll tell you what I told them, that in order for us to meet our mission statement and to provide rigorous, innovative, and relevant learning experiences, that is not average teaching. That is not preparing a lesson the day before, even though for the new teachers, maybe that is the case for them. But it's making sure that we work as a team because our students and the outcomes are bold and they're lofty. And so we demonstrated that throughout the school district last year. And I'm going to show you some results here in a minute that demonstrate the good work, the hard work that teachers and administrators and people in the district have done over the past year. And I'm very proud of that. So we're now going to connect to the other locations. if it works, we're going to connect, which it will. We're going to start, obviously, with our location, and I'm going to introduce every location has an administrator from central office and possibly a board member, okay? So we're going to start with Seguin High School and Seguin Network and Mr. Bowie Hogg, our school board president, to come give you some greetings.
Good morning. Do we have a great leader and a superintendent or what? We do a lot of things as a board, and I'd still say one of the best things we did was hiring Dr. Marcelo Cavazos. On behalf of the board, welcome. It's another year. You're excited, your principals are excited, the students are excited, and the parents are even more excited than anyone. As you can see from this virtual convocation, it's a little different. But things in the AISD are a little different than they used to be. What do I consider this and the board? When you ask for one word, what does our board do? What are we trying to do? Progressive. We're a progressive reform board. We are trying to do things a little differently than what they've done in the past to get us to that next level of where we all know we want to be. We've made a lot of changes. One that I think was great was we finally compensated salaries up to the level they should be for all of our teachers and staff. Now, there should be a lot bigger applause for that. But we've also taken some real reform steps. We've added things from early college high schools to gifted and talented classes in the elementary, trying to increase those levels, to more programs for our junior highs to prepare them for when they come into high school, and adding back learning environments. We do all these type of things. And it's all about reform and being progressive. But as a board, we can create all the policies we want. We can create all the new rules we want, all the new salaries, everything, but nothing really matters if our staff that's in the classroom is not giving their all. And everything we do, from central office to our ancillary staff and everything, is all about how do we help the teachers in the classroom? How do we help the folks in the classroom? Why? Because guess who has that direct impact in the classroom on the students? The classroom, the teachers. Everything we do is based around that. Everything we're focused on, every vision, every progressive reform, every change, everything we do, everything we vote on is for the classroom. And that classroom is for our students. Thank you for the start of another great year, and I look forward to talking to you a little bit later today. Thank you.
All right, that was our first location, Seguin High School. So now we're going to move on to Shackelford Junior High. There's Shackelford waving at me, but you'll see him here in a minute. There you go. There you go. Good morning. Good morning. All right. All right. So they're quite excited, aren't they? All right. So, Andy, good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
I'm glad you showed up, Andy. And I'm glad that you're there because we have one of our school board members there.
We do indeed.
Would you introduce him, please?
I would love to. Dr. Aaron Reich is here this morning.
Hello.
And we're also joined by Ms. Michelle Wilmoth-Sonato.
Andy, thank you. And we're going to be coming back to you with some questions. Okay? And we're going to make them high-level, rigorous questions for you.
I've got support. I'm ready. Right.
All right, Andy, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on now to Workman Junior High.
Oh, jeez. What happened?
Oh, boy. I'm not sure what that was. All right. By the way, Kelvin, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am here. How are you?
I'm doing well, Kelvin. By the way, you're resonating in the auditorium at Seguin High School with a bunch of my friends, and so they hear everything. And I think I've realized what's going on. I'm not going in order that I'm supposed to, and that's what's causing the problems. They're a little off guard. But hey, it's the beginning of the school year. That's how it should go. You know, you should have some fun. Okay, so Kelvin, tell us who's there and introduce them, please.
All right, good morning, Dr. Cavazos. We're really excited here and working with the Now, this is not just workman staff. It's a combination. We have Mr. Strand and newcomers here with us as well, so we appreciate that. Dr. C, I'm joined by Mr. Hibbs. He's here as a board member. Carter is hiding from the camera. He's a little camera shy this morning, but Dr. Carter is here as well.
Oh, there's Wally Carter. Oh, geez. Get the camera back.
Put the camera back.
No, just kidding. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Get the camera off.
So be careful what I say.
But we're excited to be a part of this virtual convocation. Look forward to participating in this process throughout the course of this morning. So thank you for inviting us, and we're truly excited and anticipate great results this year. So thank you, sir.
All right, let's hear from our friend John Hibbs. Mr. Hibbs.
Good morning, everybody. Listen, I just want to. We've got a lot of feedback here.
We
Dr. Cavazos, when we saw you talking, there was like a 30-second delay, so you were still dancing. Everybody, I want to empower you this year. I truly believe that God has given each one of us certain talents and gifts. And there is no greater talent or gift than in the education of our children. And as you guys go out this year and you have the uncertainty of certain days, I want you to take strength in one promise, and that's something I take on every day, and it comes from Philippians 4:13. And it's a promise that in everything that you do, you can rest assured that the Father is going to give you strength to get through that day. So go out, make it a great year.
All right. Now, with all due warning, we're going to Arlington High next. Arlington High, welcome Jennifer. Jennifer?
Good morning, Dr. C. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jennifer.
Well, welcome to Arlington High School. I'm very happy to introduce our Chief Academic Officer, Evan Smith, and Board Member, Jamie Sullins.
Welcome. Let's hear from Jamie Sullins, please.
Great. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to school this year. I'm so excited to get the school year started. It's hard to think of something to say to the most inspiring people you'll ever meet, teachers, and it's especially hard to think of it without sounding like the Pinterest board blew up on you. So I stop with just thank you. Thank you for constantly inspiring. Thank you for leading our schools, and I have tremendous confidence in you, and we're here to support you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. Jennifer, you have more than 7 teachers, don't you?
If the camera's facing the rest of them, there's a glare and you can't see them.
Yeah, okay.
We got a cafeteria full.
I'm kidding. All right, we're going to move on to Dunn Elementary.
Yay.
All right, here we are with Dunn Elementary. Good morning, Mary Helen.
Good morning. I'm excited that Dr. Melissa Hobbrick is here, one of our elementary area superintendents. She's fantastic, and she's joined us this morning.
Wonderful. And Mary Helen, Gloria Pena?
She is not with us today, and we look forward to seeing her. Oh.
No, she's with us. I was trying to warn you. So, Mary Helen, here's Gloria Pena virtually back to you. How's that? So, Mary Helen, here's Gloria Pena virtually.
Here I am. Can you see me? Well, I wish I was there, but I made it here. But I'm here. I'm at the convocation, right? Hello, everybody here, and hello, everybody there. It's wonderful that school's almost upon us. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, UTA starts on the 22nd of August. I know this because my daughter's starting. And we'll be starting on the 26th for AISD. And I'm so excited. It's hard for me not to go to the store and buy school supplies. So Adams Elementary is going to be the beneficiary of what I have been purchasing to help them get started for the new year. Dunn's just up the street from me. I drive by your school all the time, so I'll stop by and see you all. How about that? Your school all the time, so I'll stop by and see you all. How about that? Your school all the time, so I'll stop by and see you all. Okay, I stopped talking. You got to say anything for us?
Well, yes, I am. Live from Dunn Elementary, it's Monday morning. Celebrate good times, come on! Celebrate Elementary!
Way to go, and I'll turn you down. Way to go, and I'll turn you down. Way to go, and I'll turn you down.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to Reminzi. If I can find Reminzi. Nope. He's on the screen. All right. All right, good morning. All right, there we go. I don't think they're going to stop. Matt, how are you this morning?
Good. Can you hear us?
All right, Matt, introduce who you have there, please.
All right, well, we're here with Dr. Seguin, area superintendent. Good morning. And then Tony Papa, who's our board member. Good morning. And then,
welcome, and let's hear from Tony.
Who's our board member. Good morning, everyone. We're happy to be here this morning. As you can see, everybody at Reminzi is excited about getting the school year started. And this is really odd with hearing myself talk as I talk. So, but I think we're going to make it through. I want to tell all the teachers in the district, thank you for all the work that you've done. I know most of you have spent countless hours during the summer still working and preparing for this year. As I've said last year, the job of the board is to set the direction and the tone and put a plan in place, and for Dr. Cavazos to bring that plan to you all. But the real work is the one that has to be done by the teachers. You are able to execute and actually deliver that educational experience to our students. the great improvements we've seen over the last year, in every which way we can measure it, are in probably greatly due to your efforts. So again, thank you. Have a wonderful year. Continue your dedication, and we will be here to support you each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Next, we go to this fine-looking group at Starrett Elementary. All right, John, good morning.
How are y'all?
Doing well. They're very quiet.
They are. Well, this is an elementary group, so we're excited about everything. You know that.
All right, John, introduce who you have there, please.
Absolutely. My two special guests. We have Debbie Williams. She's the elementary curriculum.
John, it's live. So I'm glad we work well as a team.
We decided it was like FaceTiming with 6,000 of your closest friends, basically. And also I have Peter Barron here, and I think he wants to say a few words.
Good morning, teachers. Good morning. There's only one out there. The teachers here at Starrett have been eating donuts all morning, so they're kind of and very sweet. I welcome all of our teachers and staff back this year. I know we're going to have a great year, and we look forward to the kids coming in next Monday. I know they'll be all smart and ready to go. And like Mrs. Pena, I've been out buying office supplies too. I hope we have a great year.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, John. Next, we'll move on to the PDC. Right. The PDC. And we have with us Renee Pope, our Director of Curriculum. So Renee, good morning.
Good morning.
Give us some words of wisdom.
Well, this morning, the all-powerful curriculum and instructional staff, as well as the all-powerful maintenance staff, and our Chief Financial Officer are all here to welcome everyone back to another great year and to say good morning. Yay!
Wonderful. I'm kidding with you, Renee. Thank you, and we'll be connecting back with you here in just a minute, okay?
All right.
All right, we're now going to move quickly one more time just to test the technology. You know, just to give us a higher standard here. So we're moving on to Jennifer, who's walking away. Now, Jennifer, give us really quickly here. I'd like for staff, some of the leadership, to reflect on the past year, and then some of them give us what they anticipate for this coming year. So Jennifer, tell us what you reflected on last year.
Hey, Dr. C, we had a great year at Arlington High last year. Our survey results were wonderful. Our TEA rating was great, and we're really excited about this next year and what we're going to do. We know we're going to do great things, and I'm very thankful to have an incredible staff that's truly dedicated to our mission, which is meeting the goals of each of our students. We're excited about the year. Kick 'em Colts.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it. Andy, what do you anticipate this coming year to bring?
Andy.
Hi, Doctor. Yes, sir. We're with you now. In anticipation of this year, I'm looking forward to us building on the great things that we did in this past school year. We achieved a lot of academic success, but we're not satisfied. I'm looking forward to us building on our PLCs and working together even better than we ever have before, and making great learning opportunities for our kids.
Thank you, Andy.
Sir.
Moving on to Workman. Kelvin and Mark, reflect a little bit on last year.
Yes, sir. Mark is going to just share a little bit with the district in regards to the reflection of Workman last year and newcomers.
And what we worked on last year, both Workman and newcomer, we were excited about putting PLCs into full swing, We were excited about using DataWise for the first time to shoot for continuous improvement. And we look forward to continuing those this coming year.
All right, very good, thank you. We're going to move on to Mary Helen at Dunn.
I'm here.
Give us your thoughts, Mary Helen, on the upcoming school year.
Well, we are excited as we celebrate Dunn's 40th year anniversary. And I believe that the transparency that was developed at the end of last year will no doubt be the catalyst for what we can do this year for our students. We have built a system of support, and we want the very best for every one of our students. We want them all to reach their maximum potential academically and socially and emotionally. And I sincerely, with every part of me, believe that this will be the best year ever at Dunn Elementary.
Thank you, Mary Helen. We appreciate that. Moving on to Raminzi. Matt, tell us a little bit about your reflection or what you anticipate for the school year.
Okay, Dr. C, I'm really excited. We spent a lot of time this summer working on collaboration and making commitments, and so this year we're really committed to doing whatever it takes so that all students learn and meet proficiency and work together as a team, regardless if they're our students or they're in part of the school, and really to help them to be successful.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to Sterrett with John. John, tell us a little bit about what you reflected on this last school year. He's not there.
We were part of it. You got to come to us on the very first day of school. Kids were really, really excited about that. Our staff was excited about that. We introduced PLCs this year. Last year. We're going to really hit this harder this year. Our parent survey and our staff survey were very positive. We're very excited about that. And like my colleagues have said, this is going to be the very best year, and we're very, very excited.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. We had the PDC here. Maybe we don't have them anymore. So, okay, go ahead. Show them up there. They can't see me, maybe. All right, Renee, tell us a little bit about what you anticipate this year.
Well, this year we anticipate some really great things. We have the selection and the adoption of an instructional model. We have, we're going to use our curriculum audit feedback to improve our curriculum documents and our professional development. We're going to expand our comprehensive math plan. This is year 2. We're going to provide some district support for writing and writing across the curriculum. And we're going to have a greater collaboration between the departments and curriculum instruction. And overall, we're just going to increase our effectiveness in supporting our schools this year.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to now move on to a more traditional PowerPoint. And so would you give a round of applause everywhere to our technology staff and everyone who's able to put this virtual convocation together. All right, so as we move on to this school year, we want to continue to remind people and talk a little bit more about our framework for success. And one is to be inspired learners, to have inspired learners in our school system. The other is to have effective leadership and an engaged community. This is the framework for AISD and the pathway really to our success. If you have inspired learners, if you have effective leadership across the board, and you have an engaged community, that's the formula for success. And that's our position, that as a school district, these things will propel us to success. All right, so year 1 highlights from our strategic plan, and I'm not going to go through very many, other than to tell you that there is a publication that will be online regarding our year 1 highlights. But as Bowie mentioned, one of the most important things I think that the board has done is to adopt that strategic plan, to fund it, and then move quickly. And so as you know, that one of the things that Bowie mentioned was that the teacher salary was set high for the beginning teachers, at $50,000. That sets us above everyone else really in the Metroplex. So thank you to the school board and thank the board members who are out there virtually. And so I'll tell you that, and I've said this before, that with that high standard that we've set in our school district, the board has taken an important part to invest. And we're going to talk more a little bit here in a little bit about investing in a system. A brief commercial. if you haven't been on our website or haven't been on this page on our website, I encourage you to look at our strategic plan website so that you can be the most informed about the things that we're doing as a system. And so on that strategic plan website, you'll see that on the right-hand corner there are fact sheets. Each one of those is linked to a document that explains exactly what the initiative entails. So if you're wondering about MPE, you're wondering about early college high school, you're wondering about UIL academics at the elementary, world languages at the elementary, things like that, the career technical course, each one of those has a fact sheet that clearly explains not only how we're doing it, but when it's to occur and how much it's going to cost in some cases, but more importantly, what are the outcomes for kids. All right, so inspired learners, let's look a little bit closer at our performance this school year. And I think it's important to take a little bit of time to try to understand our performance. You know that our accountability system from the state and our performance and the test scores are not the easiest things to interpret. So I'm going to try to just go through some highlights. But if you remember last year, we talked a lot about the average raw score of the STAR test from our students. This is this year's, but we talked about it a little bit last year because the state was still trying to set standards. What we learned about the raw score performance is that that's an excellent way of us looking at our performance. And the reason it's strong is because it's actually looking at how many questions students obtain correctly. And when you talk about how many questions students obtain correctly, you're getting closer to that true word of achievement. And not just did they pass or did they fail, but are they achieving? And so are we getting more questions correctly? And so if you look, and if you remember last year we talked about this, we're comparing ourselves to the state at every single grade level. And so there's some good news here. There's still some areas that we need to really concentrate on, but I'll go through this rather quickly here. If you remember our discussion, we want to be above the state average. And the state average is not a simple mechanism or a simple standard. It's actually a pretty rigorous standard. And so if you look, we're above the state average when it's green, we're below when it's red, and we're at state average when it's in black print. So if you look across the grade levels in reading, you see some green, very, very hopeful promises of green, some red, and if you notice that it's red even if it's 1 point or 2 points below. And we want to be comfortably above the state. And we talked about that last year. We want to be 2 or 3, 4 points above the state. And so if you look at mathematics, it's still an issue and an area for us. And you know that this is not something that is necessarily easily turned around, but it's something that we need to make progress on. And so if you look, we are narrowing some of that gap even from last year when we talked about how far we are below the state. There's great promise and continues to be in 6th grade, as we mentioned last year. Thank you. Yeah, 6th grade. And of course, we look at the 8th grade also above the state. And so as we continue, yeah, 8th grade wants their own time. So. As we continue to examine our data, we look at the good and the bad, and we also look transparently to our community. So I've shared this information with our community in the State of the District that we did last week. Because in an effort for us to improve, we have to be very transparent about our performance. When you look, again, looking at writing, science, social studies, and this is 3 through 8th, and we're going to get to high school here in a minute. And so in the writing test, we're above the state in some areas, below in some areas, but at the state average in others. If you recall that writing test and the performance of our students across the state, the writing test was a very difficult exam. It's more rigorous than we have had in terms of writing. So we're at least holding in the writing. Science, at state average, and when you look, and this is supposed to be 8th grade science, when you look at the 8th grade or the science at the junior high, above the state average in green, which is very good. Social studies, the same thing. Some areas we're at the state average, and then some above the state average. Moving on. This is a chart developed by Dr. Wally Carter. And he's remote somewhere else, so we can't call him. Well, we can, actually. But it's a little complicated, but I'm going to try to make it as digestible as possible. So when you look at the comparison against the state average in these raw scores, if you recall, some of them were above state average, some were below state average. When you do the sum of differences, that's the only technical part we're going to get here, okay? The sum of differences, in other words, you add all those things up, plus and minus. Last year, we were minus 17 points below the state. We were at a 17-point deficit as compared to the state in grades 3 through 8. And so this year, we're at a positive 2 as compared to the state. We've closed that deficit, to your credit. And so I think that's very important, because if we were standing here this year and talking about a further deficit or a continued deficit, it would be problematic, because you want to see the deficit close and then you want to be above the state. So I commend everyone who was involved in that. All right, moving on to high school. These are our end of course exams. AISD is compared to the state. Again, the most rigorous way of looking at this is comparing ourselves to the state. So in English 1, reading, we were, as you can tell, above the state in one area, okay? And holding with the state, I think that's a difference. Actually, we're above the state in those areas. ELA writing, below the state in some areas, but above in others. And so when you look at ELA writing in English 2, above the state, and Algebra 1, above the state in some areas, but many below the state. And that continues to be an area that we need to emphasize with our freshmen. Geometry, when you look at the scores, they're high to begin with, but still below the state. Algebra 2, outstanding Algebra 2 performance, double digit above the state average. And I shared with the community last week that our Algebra 2 students, I mean, this is a large number of students we're testing. That's what this means, how many students are taking the test. So this isn't an isolated class here and there. These are a large number of Algebra 2 students performing very well. In biology, slightly below the state in some areas. In chemistry, above the state average in almost all areas. World geography, below the state in a few areas, but above the state in another one. World history, double digit above the state in most areas. Very well done to world history as well. And so if you look a little bit deeper into this, the real leverage includes performance with our economically disadvantaged students. Because our economically disadvantaged students, above the state average in some of these areas, and the previous slides as well, is really a leverage point for AISD. Because we're able to help those students be successful on the state test, which ultimately determines their success as they move on to high school or through high school. So, digging a little deeper just to be transparent, and again, we don't overinflate, we don't overemphasize sometimes, but we do speak about our performance very, very transparently. So if you look at our freshman performance, those exams that were freshmen only, because you know this year there were more exams added. But last year we had freshman exams, and the previous year we had freshman exams, and so we're still at a 32-point deficit. We were 51 points when you do the sum of differences and the percentages. We're at a 32-point deficit. Still plenty of work to do there. And we're going to talk a little bit about our curriculum audit and things with our instructional model to help us with that. But just knowing that that freshman group, still a strong emphasis for us. And if you're at one of the high schools, some of our high schools, implementing some 9th grade centers to help with those freshmen. All right, but when you look at all the tests and end of course tests, not just the freshman test, all that Algebra 2, world history, etc., then when you look at the sum of differences, we're at 116 positive against the state. So I think that's something to be proud of. All right, we're going to move quickly here to our state accountability. So this year, we had a state accountability system, a new one that was being rolled out, and I can tell you that there were 5 schools in Arlington, in particular, who wanted an accountability system this year. Remember, there was some talk about whether we were going to have an accountability system or not because of the state legislature. And so these 5 schools wanted the accountability system because they wanted to show that they had performed well above the state and also remove their label of unacceptable. If you recall, 2 years ago, at 5 schools that were unacceptable. And so we would tell the community that our schools are performing better and we would do our own analysis, but there was little real attention to that because the state hadn't done their own accountability system. And so when you look at those 5 schools, every one of those 5 schools that were unacceptable met the standard this year. So I want to congratulate those schools. And so let's talk a little bit about this accountability system that's new for this school year. This is the framework. The intent was to make this system simple. It didn't work in general, okay? It is more comprehensive, but it is a little bit more complex. So we'll go through it a little quickly here. There's 4 indexes that schools are rated on. And the index 4 really applies to high schools only. So most of our schools have 3 indexes. Index 1 is student achievement, the percent of all tests passed. Index 2 is student progress, combination of year-to-year student scores and gains for all student groups. Index 3 is closing the achievement gap, looking at all our accountability groups, specifically economic disadvantaged, and seeing if the achievement gap is being closed. Index 4 is post-secondary readiness, 4-year or 5-year graduation rates. These are the 4 indexes by which schools are being determined or judged this school year. And so in Index 1, every school met the standard and the district met the standard in Index 1. So that's significant. Index 2, the district met the standard and every school met the standard. Index 2. In Index 3, which is closing that achievement gap, we had the district met the standard and all campuses but 3 met the standard. And so yeah, that's good. And so those 3 campuses that didn't meet the standard on Index 3, and it's important to note there's 4 indexes, most schools 3. This is on 1 index, Ellis, Spear, and Thornton. And I'll tell you what I told the community. We don't shy away from our performance. We don't shun our schools or our staff on performance. We support them. And so these 3 schools are going to receive support, but more than that, what I shared with the community and I'll share with you, we move as a team in AISD. Our performance is as a group. It's not individual schools. It's the district that moves together as a team. So those 3 schools providing support, the other schools, let's continue to move forward as a team. Very good. As we move forward, oh, and Index 4, by the way, that was the high school one. The district met it and all high schools met it in Index 4. All right. Campuses were able to receive distinctions. And distinctions were basically that you're performing at a higher level than schools like you. And so when you look at schools across the state, it's important to be able to compare your school to schools that are like your school across the state. It's okay to compare one school to another within AISD. But what you really want to know is how am I comparing to schools like mine across the state? And so the distinctions were developed. If you're in the top 10%, the highest level in your comparison group, you got a distinction. And you were able to get up to 3 distinctions. By the way, the district doesn't qualify for distinctions because they don't give distinctions to districts, only campuses. And so you were able to qualify for 3 distinctions. 1 in ELA, 2 in math, and 3 in your student progress. And the student progress is very important because it indicates, are you making sure that students are achieving at the level they should be achieving? So student progress, very rigorous ways of earning distinctions. And so, 39 schools received at least 1 distinction in AISD. You can clap. Three of our high schools earned a distinction, which is very good. 3 of our high schools earned a distinction. And this is very significant. 12 out of 12 junior highs earned a distinction. And 24, almost half of our elementary schools earned a distinction. So here are the 7 schools that earned all 3 distinctions in AISD. So we have Bailey Junior High, Carter Junior High, Gunn Junior High, Hutchinson Junior High, Owsley Junior High. That's Owsley. I'm sure the others are clapping and everything. We just can't hear them. We just can't hear them. And one elementary school, which is Piercy Elementary. And so I'll share with you what I shared with community groups, etc. That to have 12 out of 12 junior highs is critical to our performance. And to have 6 out of 6 complete all 3 distinctions is even better. So I challenge you to go to the TEA website and go to districts, because all this information is on the website, distinctions and whether they met the standard. And I challenge you to find a district where every junior high met the standard, where every junior high received a distinction, and where half of them received 3 out of 3 distinctions. And I say that as a leverage point, because we're never satisfied. And while that performance is very, very strong, we still have, as you can tell from our previous slides, areas to improve. But it's a strong leverage point. So when we talk about 8th graders coming to high school, understanding and setting that standard and expectation very high, because they've been performing. And so we should seamlessly come into a high school with high expectations for their behavior, for their academic achievement, for their involvement in school. So I thank the junior highs for their hard work, all schools, but in particular I want to recognize those junior highs. Thank you. Here's our 4-year graduation rate. And our 4-year graduation rate is the most rigorous way of looking at graduation. So we're not talking about dropout rate. We're not talking about 5 years to graduate from high school or whether you're still enrolled in high school. All those things are very important. The most rigorous standard is, have you graduated high school in 4 years? And we know that graduating in 4 years is important for our students to be competitive in our global economy. We want students to graduate. So if they graduate in 5 years, outstanding. If it takes you a little bit longer, that's okay. But our most rigorous standard for our district is on-time graduation. And so for our on-time graduation, if you look up there, it's been improving over the years. And this last year, or from 11 to 12, it went up a couple of percentage points. We're not where we want to be. But it's important to continue to improve. And we started the year last year by emphasizing that improvement was a non-negotiable. And so that's what we continue to emphasize, because we've seen improvement, that we use that momentum to continue improving in our school district. Integration of technology is a big emphasis for our inspired learners. And so when you think of inspired learners today, we have to be much more progressive in the integration of technology in our classrooms. And so that's a big emphasis this school year, providing you some opportunities to be innovative in your classroom with the use of technology. And you wonder, or you say, well, that's nice, I would like to be innovative, but where's the money? Well, our technology department has invested and has pulled some money from the bond to save it and put it into innovative instructional practices with technology. So that's a small commercial encouraging you to look for that information and apply. And you must apply as a group of teachers. Not just one teacher, but a group of teachers to really spur innovation, because the integration of technology is really an important part of the future of AISD. And we must continue to innovate in that area. All right, moving on, facilities. We're opening a brand new elementary school, Adams Elementary in East Arlington. And I hope they're out there. I'm sure they are. So James and Barbara Adams Elementary is our first 2-story elementary in the district. And so we're going to be showcasing a lot of that this school year of Adams Elementary, a facility that is really designed for students and their success for their future. And so as we look at facilities across the district, and we're going to spend a little bit of time speaking mostly of our current initiative, which is the East Arlington overcrowding and the relief for East Arlington overcrowding. We're adding classrooms at Blanton, Knox, and Rankin, scheduled to open this time next year. 10 classrooms in each one of those locations to relieve and address that overcrowding in East Arlington that we know has been with us for a good number of years. And so, a new elementary school east of 360 to open 2015. And then another elementary school at Workman Junior High School in their property to open the fall of 2016 to address our critical need of facilities in East Arlington. And so this is an effort to make sure that our students are in environments where we can maximize their learning. And so continuing on with our facilities, we're undergoing, as you know, because we've talked about this a lot, we're undergoing a facilities assessment where we're looking at every single facility throughout the district and determining our needs. And so that work began last year in the spring. And so they were at every building throughout the locations, throughout AISD. If you saw them come into your building, you may have pulled them aside and showed them your classroom because you wanted them to see it. Or you may have told them, hey, see the temperature or feel the temperature in my classroom. Or check out this plug that has 17 things plugged into it. I hope not. But you may have done that and you may have seen them. That work continues. And so here's where we're ending up with that work, because I think it's important to know from a facility standpoint where we're ending up with that work. That assessment is being done by a third party, an objective view of all our facilities. That report is scheduled to come back to AISD in the coming months. And we've put together, the board has authorized a committee to look at the facility assessment across the district and to begin prioritizing our repairs, our construction, our renovations, and other possibilities in AISD. And I'll fast forward to the end of that story, somewhat the end, maybe the middle, and that is by January, that committee would have completed their work, and then we would have a decision point in our school district. And that decision point is, where do we invest our funding for facilities improvement? Do we call for a bond election, or does the board call for a bond election? And things like that. January will be that big deciding point. And so we're well on our way to doing that. And teachers and staff can be part of this committee to help us prioritize. So let's put that slide back up there. And so we have 38 members, which, by the way, if you like committee work, this is like the committee of committees. Okay? We'll have all kinds of meetings and all kinds of time. But the outcome is to determine the best priorities for our facility improvement. So we'll have 38 committee members, board members, parents, principals, teachers, students will be able to be part of this committee. And by the way, I should have mentioned that we have students joining us this morning. So I'm glad everyone was at their best behavior when we zoomed in live over there. Okay, so the City of Arlington, community reps, college and university, etc. And you can apply online to be on this committee to help us prioritize our needs. All right, when we talk about transformation of learning, we have two paths for transforming AISD and AISD students' learning. One is instruction for all students. That's one path. That's not necessarily the more exciting path, but it's a very important one. And so it's what we do every single day in classrooms with students. What's leading that effort is our curriculum audit and our instructional model. Those two things. Curriculum audit was examining our curriculum K-12 to lead the effort in where are our gaps for students. So this is fundamental learning for all students. The instructional model, what do we expect in our classrooms pre-K-12? What kind of learning do we expect? What kind of technology integration? What kind of interaction do we expect from students? Very important, fundamental learning. The other path, Spence, the other path, thank you, he's worried about those other campuses we're going to connect to here in a minute. He's working ahead. Is the unique learning opportunities and experiences for students. And so the unique learning opportunities for students is the other path that we're following in AISD. It means what kind of opportunities do we provide students that is unique to their learning, that not all students want to take advantage of, but we know a large number of students would take advantage of. So those unique learning opportunities that distinguishes our school district, this is just a brief example. world languages, AVID at the elementary level, elementary UIL competition, career technical higher education courses. Every 8th grader taking a career technical higher education course to map their future, and us being very purposeful and very direct about helping students map their future. Expansion of athletics in the junior high. This year we're adding soccer and tennis to junior high athletics. I think that's good. And so we know that these sports are of demand and interest with our students. And so we continue to add unique learning opportunities for students. Paving the road to college and career readiness and additional CTE courses. We continue to add career technical certification courses, dual credit courses in HVAC, engineering, and things like that, to make sure our students are taking advantage of those career-ready courses. Now, those unique learning opportunities are just the beginning for AISD. We're just beginning to lay that foundation. And so we want to continue working on that task and ask you for your input on these unique learning opportunities for students and what they should be. And here's the question we want to ask. What unique student learning experiences should the AISD provide in order to meet our mission? And so that question is critical because you give us your feedback. This time last week, not exactly this time, but Monday, I asked the community in the state of the district the same question and asked them to give us feedback on what unique learning opportunities or experiences should AISD provide. And this is an opportunity for you to really think beyond our normal and regular curriculum. What should those experiences be? So, Leslie Johnson is going to take you through this activity, and then we're going to ask the sites that are hopefully still awake to give us their feedback. So, Leslie.
All right, we're going to look at some of our responses that have come in. So Starrett suggested a flipped classroom, a community garden, community service projects. We have AutoCAD and architecture, iPads for all students. Chad. Technology in the science classrooms came from Owsley. Hands-on experiences, integrated technology, individual to the needs of each child, before and after school. Some great suggestions from Anderson. Off-campus traveling from learning from Miller. Seguin. Collaboration, teamwork, desire. We're getting a lot of responses in. Dyslexia programs at the elementary grade levels. Sustainable living with gardens and composting. More in vocation, community service, hands-on experiences. Okay, we're going to go back to our remote locations and let them tell us about their answers.
We're going to Arlington High. Jennifer, give us your response or your team.
Hi, Dr. Cavazos. This is Christy Corden, English teacher.
I was thinking about possibly being able to offer tutoring opportunities after school by providing transportation to help with rigor and relevancy in our classrooms. That's it.
All right. All right. We're going now to Shackelford Junior High. If it works, what are your words of wisdom?
Hi, Dr. C. What we discussed this morning, and forgive us if we repeat some of what Arlington High said, we were having technical difficulties, but what we would like to see is more enhanced connections with the business community and just the community at large to provide more relevant learning experiences for our kids that will help them stay motivated to stay in school and to continue on in their school.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much for that. All right. Workman and newcomer and Mr. Hibbs.
All right, Dr. Cavazos, and what we've discussed, and I've gotten feedback from our staff here, is that in order for the district to empower and engage all students to be contributing, responsible citizens reaching their maximum potential, The learning experiences that occur on a daily basis in the classrooms across this district have to transcend beyond the walls of our building and into the worlds of our students. We must provide all students with experiential learning opportunities. The content that's taught can't be merely words on the page to our students. It's our responsibility to bring it to life with real-world, relevant, innovative instructional practices. Just to give you a little feedback from a couple of my teachers, Miss Gross is a Texas history teacher here, and she said that our students have to have as many real-world experiences as possible. The more experiences they have with the content, the more relevant it becomes, and the more they'll become more able to apply it to their learning. Miss Jennings is a technology teacher here, and she shared the same sentiments, that we have to provide our students with career-focused courses that will prepare them with those lifelong skills so they'll be positive, productive, contributing members to the community.
Well done. Very good. Very, very good. Thank you. Moving on to the PDC. It's no surprise. All right, go ahead.
Good morning. To share our responses, we have Donna Bolus from the Science Department and Dustin Alexander from Special Education Department.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, hi, everybody. Hi, friends. This is so fun. Sorry. I'm live. Sorry. So our unique experience, to begin with, isn't quite as unique because we want teachers to allow students time to process. But the unique part comes in with after they've processed and after they've learned to share that learning with their peers, both on their campus, at other campuses, virtually through the use of the technology that we've been given, and then across the world in schools and areas across the world. Dustin's turn.
Okay. And in our brainstorming, in keeping with the relevance and rigorous learning experiences outlined in our mission statement, we were thinking about workplace getting the students out in the community on the job, applying what they've learned in the classroom.
Very good. Thank you very much, PDC. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yay.
All right, now to Sarah. Go ahead.
Dr. C, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello. We had our very first PLC this morning, and we tackled that guiding question, and I have a teacher here that would like to share one of the things they came up with in their PLC.
Hi, I'm Allison Nelson, and I'm the first grade team. I have a lovely assistant, Janice Blunt, holding up our poster. Some of the things that we would like here on our campus are computer or technology, and we thought maybe with our fine arts. We thought we would like money for more school electives, for example, drama club, book club, technology or science club. We also would like intervention or enrichment time during the week where we could not only help our struggling students but work with our juniors as well, even in K through 6th grade, not just the upper grades. We thought of science and math camp, a garden that would benefit our school and our community, a summer camp for enrichment, not just EY or BK1, and community service projects to benefit our neighborhood.
Wonderful. Thank you, Starrett Elementary. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, Mary Helen, done.
Hello, I am going to introduce Dunn's third grade team leader, Miss Joni Holder, with some great ideas.
She looks familiar.
Don't tell.
Go ahead.
Actually, Dr. Cavazos, I was a little nervous, but after watching how this morning has gone, I think it's okay if I mess up, right? Okay, actually, what we've been doing at Dunn for the past few years is focusing on differentiated instruction in all of our classrooms. We are trying to meet the needs of all of our kids, find out what is going to make them learn, reach their maximum potential. We want to build relationships with our kids, make them want to come to school, make learning fun. So here's what we would like for the district to do for us. all of that sounds great and it's fantastic, but we need planning time in our elementary schools. We need time to work with our colleagues, get together, share ideas. I've been told smart. Share ideas and work as a team to make this happen. We know that it's invaluable because we hear from our secondary schools that they love getting to plan together, and we want to do it in elementary schools. So that's my spiel, and a shout out to Key Elementary and to Bailey Junior High, and go Rangers! Oh, wait.
Thank you for your very important feedback.
You're welcome.
All right, Matt at Reminzi.
All right, Dr. Process, we spent a lot of time this morning talking about this, and we came up with some real attention needs to be devoted to project-based learning and looking at kindness campaigns and improving our conversations about bullying. We also talked about critical thinking academies, where we focus on evaluation, exploration, and problem-solving for students. And lastly, we really like the thought of looking at student-driven instruction, letting them find ways that they're inspired to learn through things that interest them, and then having them drive that instruction in the classroom.
Very good, Matt. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Well done. All right, now we're going to have some feedback from some of our students, and Mr. Bowie Hogg is going to facilitate that and see what their perspective is on these unique learning experiences.
What we've got here, we talked all about everything we're doing, and when we built this strategic plan, I think one of the most impactful areas is when we heard from a group of 38 students. We know students are not afraid to give their opinions, right? They've got lots of them, and if you give them a free rein, they've got a lot of opinions. But it really is the most impactful thing. Why are we doing everything we do? It's to make sure these kids have rigorous learning experiences. So with that, it's hard to choose sometimes some of the best, but I think we have some of the best up here today. We have a combination of our Student Leader Advisory Board, which each high school has one representative for the Student Leader Advisory Board. That's a junior class president elected that directly serves with the board to give us student input. And then we also have some of our cream of the crop Richard Green scholars. And if you don't know, that guarantees their college is paid for if they want to at UTA. It's nice. So let's do a real quick introduction of each one of these students. I always like to hear from the students, so let's give a real fast input from each of the students of your name, your school, a couple of things that you're maybe involved in, and then if you want to go ahead and give what do you think is the unique learning experience that you expect as a student in your school education.
I'm Carson Parks. I'm from Martin High School. I'm in baseball and Key Club and student council. And one suggestion I would like to make is an elective open house where the students can come and learn about the electives before they actually sign up and take them.
A little more information on electives to make sure they know what all we're offering. I love it. I love the idea. We're trying to do that in 8th grade, but we're going to do more. I love it.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Delrena Nguyen from James Bowie High School. What am I not in? Orchestra, band, Key Club, HOSA, class, that's important because I'm president of that. Don't forget that. I would like to see more emphasis on fine arts and mathematics. Fine arts because the music inspires students to learn. People. And then in every orchestra, there's always a leader that everyone looks up to, so effective leadership. And orchestra, band, choir, they're kind of their own community, so engaged community. And I think it's time that the fine arts starts reaching out to other people, and other people start reaching out to us as well. So.
Thank you. We're going to skip Amaje because she's our slab president, and we're going to the end and then coming back. Tell us everything about yourself, and then also, what do you think make a unique learning experience?
Hi, I'm Brian Chitzmira. I'm from Bowie High School. I'm the Richard Green Scholar over there. And thank you. I'm in the IB program over there at Bowie. And one suggestion that we all have is a lot of people are intimidated by us IB kids. They think that we're just obnoxious and just care too much about our studies. One thing that I see is a lot of students at Bowie, well, what I notice is they don't like to challenge themselves a lot, you know, taking advanced classes, you know, seeing what you can do. So one idea that we had with my math teacher was forming a study lounge in our school, and we would like to see it in all other schools, because most kids go home and you don't know what their home environment is over there, what they go through at home, and who knows, they might not even be doing their homework. Or so it should be like an after-school environment where teachers are in there, you know, take turns helping high school kids do their homework, projects, or whatever care they need, because you don't know what their home life is at home, or what the reason why they're not accomplishing their goals in high school. And just a way just to challenge ourselves and take advanced classes, and you never know what you can be made out of.
You don't always expect to hear from students more ways for them to study. But that's what they're looking for. A study lounge. We've heard virtual training at night for virtual help with homework, because for all our physics and calculus teachers, all the parents in the audience are saying we can't help our students. So we have to have those type of methods to really help. Great idea, and I'm a little intimidated by the IB students also. Next.
Hi, I'm Grant Hansen. I'm from Arlington High School. I'm the Richard Green Scholar there. I'm also involved in track, choir, Key Club, and National Honor Society. And I had an idea. It's just recently I've been applying to a lot of colleges, and a lot of them require you to commit to a major your first year there. And my idea was maybe having an elective class period where you can learn about different majors. So then you can know what is offered at colleges and know what future career opportunities come from these majors, so you can be more prepared to be a person in the community.
Your parents will think that, because hopefully you won't have to make the phone call of, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm switching majors. So it's a great idea. I think it's really insightful. Hector?
Hi, I'm Hector Gomez, Arlington High School. I just want to congratulate the Richard Green Scholars again. Something I'm in Key Club, FBLA, BPA, all the business activities that there are after school. Of course, as you can tell, I'm interested in business. I would like there to be more internships of what kids want to go in, since, you know, our schedules, like me as an IB student, I just joined this year, our schedules are pretty filled up. We have no room for electives. I'd like that to be like an after-school thing where you can go a little bit learn about your internship that you like to do before going into college and having to commit to that. And that's what I would think.
More work after school, and you usually hear the same thing. They want a rigorous. How do we make it rigorous for these students? Now we're jumping over to Seguin High School. You should get a good, yeah. Home field always helps. Go ahead and tell us about yourself and what you want unique learning experiences.
Hi, I'm Kayla Wary, and I go to Seguin High School. I participate in cheerleading, student council, and I'm the president of the NAACP here. I believe AISD should provide more dual credit classes, such as a algebra college course and a science course, because currently the students who are participating in the dual credit program are only receiving 24 college credit hours. Meanwhile, in other districts like Mansfield, their students receive 31 credit hours, so they enter into college as sophomores. So that takes care of the first year of college fees for the student and the parent. I believe that would be a great opportunity.
Very, very insightful and very cost savings, which is the smartest thing. Next, let's pass it over.
Hi, everyone. My name is Janae Wilson. I go to Sam Houston High School. Some of the things I'm a part of is the wrestling team, JK Living, and other organizations that I can help out with. I really think that we should really put emphasis on the incoming freshmen, mostly with the STAR test, because when I was up there this summer, I noticed that a lot of them were in line retaking it, and I didn't really think that was good for them. And it's mostly just maybe the school I go to and the way they act, just the way the freshmen are. I feel like when they start high school, they won't take it seriously, and they really should. So yeah.
Thank you. Getting them on the right focus as they come in. I love it. And last but not least, let's throw it over to our Student Leader Advisory Board, who we got to know last year when she was a current member, then elected by her peers to serve as a president, Amaje Clements from homeschool Seguin High School.
I'm Amaje Clements. I'm a senior here at Seguin High School, and I am currently in a little bit of everything. I'm drum major here at Seguin High School. I'm student body vice president here, and I'm a national FCCLA officer for public relations. And basically, I have a couple of ideas. My first thing is fine arts is a very important part of the school district, I feel. I believe that if you have a strong fine arts program, then you're gonna inspire students to express themselves through not only music, but acting and different things like that. Because you can't take for granted the fact that we're able to play music or act, and because there are some countries and even just districts in the state that don't have those opportunities. And then I think if we support CTE, and in particular, Family Consumer Sciences Education, I feel like that, oh, there they are. I feel like that makes for strong leaders, because you have things, you have different organizations that feed from FCS classes like FCCLA, which gives students the opportunities to have real life experiences and go and take the different things we learn in schools and actually act them out. So for instance, I have a government class this year. Well, through the FCS class that I'm taking through, and now FCCLA, I will be able to go to Washington, D.C. and speak with senators and legislators about the different things that's going on in my community. Those are real life experiences that I feel like would set us apart from any other school district. So if you support different programs through FCS classes, if you support fine arts, then you're gonna have a school district everyone wants to be a part of.
Amaje, it's all about getting them involved, whether it's CTE, involvement. And I ask these students to say what they're involved in, because you see what takes every student to the top level. And these are our top level students. But when we originally did an event, we brought in students that had dropped out, students that were low, students that were middle of the road, and then some of our premier students. So how do we get every one of those students involved in something? How do you engage and make it rigorous for that junior high student, for that elementary student? What are those parents looking for to keep their kids actively involved? What are those kids looking for that don't have the parents that are pushing them to get actively involved? Student input's critical, and we did this to hear from these guys, because they usually have the best ideas. And I'd tell you, ask your students, ask your parents, what are their ideas? Send them to us. We'll listen. We're going to find that. So with that, I want to give another big round of applause to our students. A couple of them are seniors who will do us proud this year. A couple more we have for 2 more years. So as you heard Dr. Cavazos, you have to graduate in 4 years. That's the rule now. So with that, I thank you for the students for your time. We're going to pass it back over.
All right, thank you for all of you who provided feedback. and for all the campuses there. And so we're going to move on to effective leadership. We're partnering with the Studer Group to help us in developing our leadership skills throughout the district. And so if you recall, we asked you, employees, for your feedback through an employee engagement survey. And you answered in the thousands. You had a lot to say, which was good, because that helps us to improve. And we hadn't asked employees about their workplace condition in over a decade. This is a structured way of asking employees for their workplace condition. So thank you for filling those surveys out. And by the way, we're going to ask you again, because this is for us to be able to improve as a school district and leadership. So I just wanted to really quickly share with you that our comparisons are really across the nation. We're the only school district in Texas that Studer Education is partnering with. And if you're familiar with Studer, Studer does a lot of work with healthcare and hospitals. And so we look at our comparison across the nation as to how we're engaging our employees with districts that are partnering with Studer outside of Texas. And so our baseline is relatively strong, but we know we have some work to do. And so there's our baseline for my questions. By the way, every one of those surveys had questions about the superintendent, because the improvement happens across the organization. And so it doesn't exclude me in terms of improvement. And I have my areas of improvement that are necessary as a leader. So we're very transparent about that, putting that out, asking very direct questions about our leadership, about principals, about myself, about our board, etc., because we want to improve. And so here are the three things that are working well, that our employees, that you, the thousands of you, and this doesn't just include teachers, it's really all employees, and we have 8,000 employees. Things that are working well, you told us that resources and processes are in place and are available, and that good decisions are being made concerning the expenditure of funds, and that expectations for job performance are clear and communicated to you. These are our stronger areas from our survey of employees. We also have the areas, the weakest areas, and those that we need to improve upon. One is to provide specific feedback focused on helping employees improve their performance. Specific feedback on the strengths of employees, and then input from employees for decisions affecting their job. So these are the three areas that you told us as a system we need to improve. And again, all of this is on our website. And so when I visit with parents and community members, etc., and I tell them that we're engaging our employees and we're asking you how we can improve, they ask, well, where can I get those results? Well, it's all online, every single one of them, because we're transparent about that improvement. And we know that as we want students to improve every single day, we have to improve as the adults as well. And so those areas that are needed for improvement, we're going to work on to improve, and then we're going to ask you again how we're doing. So every leader will have an improvement plan based on these results. We've had a number of summer professional development this year, listening to you as teachers, telling us, don't pull us from the classroom so much during the school year. And carefully balancing that need to develop people and the need to be in that classroom. We know that. And so trying to balance that, we've had an expansive amount of summer training, so teachers can take advantage of the summer training and not have to be pulled from the classroom. So I want to thank our curriculum staff and our professional development staff for doing that. We've had leadership development for our principals, specifically our principals and our area superintendents. We're partnering with Raise Your Hand Texas. That's an organization committed to improving public schools. And so we send principals to training to understand what are those improvement efforts, what's the change process, how do you improve a school by having vision and bringing people along. We've also partnered with this little organization here, and if you don't recognize that, that's Harvard. And so we've had two principals that were selected to participate in leadership training at Harvard, learning from the best practices, learning from the practitioners at Harvard on their own leadership development, being very open that we all need to develop as leaders. And so we have one of those individuals that we're going to connect to live who went to Harvard, and that's Jennifer Young from Arlington High School. And see if we can hear Jennifer this time. Jennifer? Tell us about your leadership development, Jennifer, and specifically why it's important to invest in that.
Well, Dr. Cavazos, I had a great opportunity to spend 7 days at Harvard University this summer, and I had the opportunity to learn with some of the best educational leaders in the country. I learned a lot professionally with regards to PLCs, instructional, and I also learned a lot personally. And it's my hope throughout this year that I can share what I've learned with my colleagues and also apply what I've learned personally so that I can be the best leader I can be every day for the students and staff of Arlington High School.
Thank you, Jennifer. We appreciate it. And Matt Brown was the other principal who was able to attend some leadership development training this summer. Matt, tell us about your experience.
Yeah, it was an incredible experience. Like Jennifer said, we did get to spend 7 days there. And what I learned a lot about this year was that as a principal, as an administrator, we have to focus on the support. We have to focus on supporting students, and most importantly, supporting our teachers in an effort to boost improvement and engagement in the classrooms. And so that's the way I took, and that's the focus that I'm contributing to my commitment this year.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate it. All right, we have implemented managed performance empowerment in the school district, okay? And that is a system by which schools will earn autonomy. Principals in particular will earn autonomy based on their performance, and not just performance on test scores, but their performance on that employee engagement survey, on that parent survey, on their finances, on special education compliance, etc. And so we're looking at indicators for campuses to release some of the control and some of the authority from central office so campuses can use that autonomy to be more creative. Campuses can also use that autonomy to better their schools. And so the thinking behind that is that campuses with more autonomy can make better decisions about improvement. And the only reason they would obtain an autonomy is to make better decisions for improvement. So we have our first campuses that have qualified to be MPE, or Managed Performance Empowerment, for the district. And they are Bailey Junior High, Ferguson Junior High, Owsley Junior High, okay. Shackleford Junior High. Was Ferguson here too? Yeah, Ferguson. Okay. Thank you. Ashworth Elementary, Blanton Elementary, Bryant Elementary, Farrell Elementary, Key Elementary, and Piercy Elementary. And so what this means is that these schools, and this is our first round of principals and campuses that met certain performance targets. And remember, it's not just test scores. It's about employee engagement, parent satisfaction, etc., finances, etc., that will be allowed to have some autonomy as to how they run their building. And some of that autonomy includes staffing. It includes also, not to put anybody on the spot here, but principals, it also includes whether or not you give those curriculum assessments or not, those benchmarks. That's going to be a decision of these schools and these principals based on their needs. Doesn't mean they have to stop giving them, but they're going to have some decisions. They're going to have some decisions on that exchange time and what training teachers have to go to, etc. And these autonomies will last for 2 years so that it takes us well into our staffing in the spring and be making an impact on these schools. And then we're going to have another round of schools as we get results this time next year. So I want to congratulate those schools. It's releasing some of that, but it's also developing that leadership. Effective board governance, and I talked about this a little bit. The board has set policy like MPE and autonomies for campuses that are very important for their success. The board has set direction, and you heard that from Bowie just a little while ago. And the board has invested. This is a time really when schools are cutting and continue to cut their budgets. We are too, but the board wisely is investing in our system and in our staff and our students by putting money into the strategic plan, by raising those salaries, by continuing those learning opportunities that students and everybody else is interested in, and investing in a time when we know that investing is hard. There are hard decisions to make. And this board has come together, this entire team has come together to invest in AISD for a better future for our students. So let's give them a round of applause. Engaged community. We asked our parents how they felt about our school system. And here's how we compare against other districts throughout the nation. So we compare well, but we still have areas to improve, but our parents in general are pleased with our school system. Here are the three most important things, or the highest ranked things from our parent survey. The school is clean and well maintained. My child has the necessary classroom supplies and equipment for effective learning, and my family is treated with respect at this school. Treated with respect at a school is critical in order for us to gain the trust of the public so they can engage with us. So I'm very proud of the fact that those are our top three. We have some areas that we still need to work on, and that is school rules and discipline plans are enforced consistently. These are some of our lowest ranked items. I regularly receive feedback from school staff on how well my child is learning. I receive positive phone calls, notes, and/or emails about my child from the school. These are our lower areas in our school system from our parent feedback. So while we're very proud of the fact that we treat them with respect and our buildings and our facilities are very clean, and in general there's a good mood and a good climate in our schools for our parents, we know that there's still some areas, just like leadership development, there's areas we can improve upon. Moving on to some very important partnerships that we're announcing this year as we move forward. We have a tremendous partnership with Tarrant County Community College, TCC. A tremendous partnership with Southeast, with the entire system in general. And so next year, this time next year, we will be opening our early college high school with TCC. This time next year. So it's our 7th high school in Arlington ISD, located at TCC's facility. An investment between two organizations to invest in the future of students. And this early college high school will allow incoming freshmen, so the 8th graders this year will be applying to try to get into this early college high school, incoming freshmen next year to start taking college credit when they become freshman students. At the end of their 4 years, the expectation is that they get a high school diploma and an associate's degree as they walk out of AISD's system. And it's a tremendous investment from TCC, from AISD, committed to student success. And you're thinking, freshmen, would they want to obtain a college degrees or actually college classes as freshmen? Who in the world would participate in this? Well, I can tell you that there are thousands of freshmen. And we can find in AISD more than enough freshmen that want to participate, more than enough families that want this opportunity, because, by the way, that associate's degree is completely free for the students, AISD. We have a center called 600 New York, and that's a dropout recovery center for students who are struggling, specifically in an area in East Arlington, off of New York Avenue. A renovated facility that the board invested in a partnership with the city, because it belonged to the city, for us to invest in a facility to help students who are the most needy obtain their high school diploma with us in the area specifically targeted to improve our graduation rates. And so TCC has joined us to provide a seamless path in that facility and staff it with individuals from TCC so that students can go from one room to the next to register for college. Our most neediest students being able to seamlessly, at 600 New York, register for college and take courses at 600 New York for their advancement. So I thank TCC for that. We continue to expand, and we have 16 career technical certification programs that we expanded to. Those are certification programs that students take while in high school. Take certification programs to complete a certificate and go straight to work if that's what they desire after high school, or work while they go to college and pay for their education. What a novel idea for students to be able to do that. And so this year, we had our first graduating class of our firefighter academy. First graduating class. And 4 of those students that graduated in May from the Firefighter Academy are now Arlington firefighters in Arlington. So there are our new career technical courses. Moving on to UT Arlington. Moving quickly. UT Arlington here, we've been a partner with University of Texas at Arlington for a number of years. But really the question becomes pretty evident that what are those outcomes for students that are a result of our partnership? So it's important to partner with institutions. But from my standpoint, the most important question is what are the results and what are the outcomes for students? So I challenged our new incoming UT Arlington president. I got to him early, and we met. And so I challenged him to make our partnership, to work with the Arlington Independent School District with 65,000 students, to work with us to make that partnership something tangible for students, like the early college high school, like the career certification courses, like the dual credit that was mentioned earlier. So, UT Arlington, stepping up to that challenge, and they've agreed to start a program whereby juniors who meet a certain criteria will be given early admissions to the University of Texas at Arlington. Early admissions across the board for juniors, any junior who meets a standard. From AISD, early admissions, and then their senior year, they provide support from UT Arlington, their advisors, their counselors, etc., providing support directly in our schools to those students. So that students who are wondering where to go to college, is there any college opportunity for me, will know at the end or at the middle of their junior year. So that it releases that question, that nervousness, that anxiety their senior year about where am I going to go to college. Introduces that very high standard of a college-going culture. So the University of Texas at Arlington has committed that these juniors who meet a very high standard in our district, which we have a good number of them, will get early admissions their junior year and stop worrying about where they need to go to college. Here's to my friend at Seguin High School who brought this up right now. Dual credit courses. I challenged UTA, and very much the same conversation that she mentioned earlier. A lot of our dual credit with TCC is English, government, economics, US history, psychology. And so I challenged UTA to be the provider for our STEM classes, our science, technology, engineering, and math classes, our dual credit for those classes. And so they've stepped up and are working with us to be the providers for our STEM classes to our students in Arlington ISD, starting hopefully in the spring semester. And finally, because we had to end the meeting at some point, I shared with the UT president that we want to explore and design pathways for nursing, criminal justice, business, and science and engineering degrees. It only makes sense that a university in our community with a strong engineering and strong nursing programs and strong business programs partner with a school system and have that pipeline go to their university that we can provide. And so that's another opportunity that UT Arlington has stepped up to provide for us. All right, the first day of school, and we're getting towards the end here. First day of school, I asked these individuals, and if you don't know who they are, this is the president of TCC Southeast, this is the new president of UT Arlington. I've asked them to join me on the first day of school as we visit schools to make the point and demonstrate the point that the workforce of tomorrow is sitting in our classrooms today. Doesn't mean they have to go to TCC or UT Arlington, but it does mean that we have to be very purposeful in our community about understanding that 65,000 students that we're preparing every single day is really our future. And from their standpoint, it's really the pipeline to their institutions as well. And so they've agreed to join me on the first day of school. And if you recall last year, I walked home with a student at the end of the day, and it was very hot. And he didn't melt, but I pretty much melted. We're not going to walk that far, but we will be coming into different locations, different buildings, and hopefully meeting some of you in your classrooms. And that's a tweet along. If anybody, you shouldn't be doing that during the day, but it's really for our community. So, and finally, there isn't a slide after this one, so you're getting close to the end here. So, and finally, what I would say is that we serve over 65% of our students are economically disadvantaged. And so we know that there's one ticket out. There's one ticket out that's guaranteed, time-tested, research-based ticket out from poverty. And that is a quality, outstanding education. And that's what you provide every single day. So I challenge you, as we move into this school year, to make that something you think about every single day, that you, in the classroom, in particular, but all of us in the organization, but you in the classroom in particular, are that great equalizer. You can provide those opportunities for students, for them to break the cycle of poverty and have an outstanding future. And so I want to thank, before we adjourn here, I want to thank everybody for attending virtually. I want to thank everyone. This is the largest viewed convocation we've ever had. We included maintenance and other individuals from across the district that don't have the opportunity to come together with us when we have our convocation meetings. And so I want to thank them for their attention, the staff, for everybody who worked on this, because it was rather seamless. It was a big experiment. And I remember standing here Friday afternoon, and they were really thinking it was going to be an experiment. I was hoping somebody would show up. So I want to thank the crew over here, Spence in particular, and Mackenzie. You can't see him. I want to thank all our remote locations. I want to thank our school board. And I want to wish you the very, very best school year this upcoming year. So thank you and have a great day.